new theme song for Carol Ann. In the Garden with Carol Ann. Stanley Spencer is the musician you got to do that for you. Good morning, Carol Ann. How
Good
you doing?
morning, Larry. I'm doing real good.
He did a good job, too.
Yeah, I like
Gosh, he sounds just like the guy. I know it was Iron Butterfly, but I can't remember the guy's name that sang it. Do you?
Yeah, I don't remember it. I'd have to look it up.
In the Garden. You know what's going to happen now?
What?
You're going to be at Lowe's, and people are going to come up singing that to you.
Right.
In the Garden with Carol Ann.
We'll find out. We'll see.
You're going to have that. It's going to be haunting you.
It will
It's going to be haunting you.
Oh, I don't know. It's actually just that people will hear my voice and go, I know you.
In the Garden with Carol Ann.
I hope everybody else likes it. It was just.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
I thought it was cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, yeah, it was just, WOCA is what they're eliminating their service.
We're divorcing ourselves from the licensing organizations.
Right. And so I was charged with either find myself somebody to do me up a theme song, or it was going to be some generic freebie stuff offline, which can be cool too. And so I asked a friend of mine, Stanley Spencer with Still Willis Band, could he do something?
With what
Still
band?
Willis.
The Still Willis Band?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? Okay.
He mostly just, they don't play too much anymore except for, special occasions because he's
like your
behind the wheel of
your radio
a truck. Yeah, like my radio show.
Oh, he's a truck driver?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But so he agreed to it, and I actually never heard any of it until I got the CD on Sunday. He recorded it Saturday, they edited it, and Sunday I had it, and I am so tickled to death. And that's
very cool.
So
very cool.
It's cool.
Are you ready to jump into the phone calls?
I'm ready to jump in.
All right.
We're in the garden.
I didn't even mention it yet, so those who don't know the phone number, it is 622-WOCA. Your questions, your comments are all an important part of this show. 622-9622. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Remember we were discussing how to get fertilizer around these shilling plants,
right?
Especially the way they're,
getting real thick.
Grown.
Yeah.
Well, I came across a container that your grated Parmesan comes in.
Ah, yeah.
And it's a plastic container, and the cap has different dispensing, whether you can, dunk a spoon in there.
Right.
The other end has the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put that fertilizer in there, and I'm able to control it and everything as you reach under the bush.
Oh, good.
As it comes out the little holes.
Great.
And, you just shake it and you can put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's a little hard to do. You're on your hands and knees with your face right in the ground.
In the shrubs.
But it seems to be working very well, and
Great.
I don't seem to have to worry about getting fertilizer in the crooks of the branches or anything like that.
Right. And yeah, you're not also got a cup that's going to spill when you're trying to get it in there, and so good idea.
Well, the other thing I discovered I can use it for is if I got a couple of spots where I want to throw some grass seed.
Right.
I just throw the grass seed in there, and then you shake it around, and it's, you can get it where you want. And
exactly.
You're not, and you can more or less can control it. That's the big thing.
Right. You're not getting it all in piles in areas. Yeah, that's actually, it's a really good way to do things. The Parmesan's nice. It's nice especially for things that are bigger, like you say, the fertilizer, and even grass seeds you won't put down at a decent rate. But if you're planting flower seeds or vegetable seeds that are tiny, the smaller kind of herb and spice bottles work real well too for those little teeny seeds too.
Oh yeah, right. I didn't think about that, but the big thing is that you're able to control it, and you get the benefit of the cheese, and then the use of the container afterwards.
Recycle the container, repurpose it. There you go.
So that's my Oh, by the way, I tried that funnel thing that I was thinking to use.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. They usually it flows through. You can't control it. Then when you think you got it, it clogs up.
Yeah. Well, it was a good thought, though. The thought was there.
Just the shaker just works.
Works real good. Good. Super.
Yep. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny.
Yeah. It's always nice to find other uses for things, And when, like you say, that's actually pretty good deal. You got the the Parmesan shaker, and whether or not you use the spoon section, where you can shake it out a little more,
right.
or the shaker, the other side, the shaker top part of it, especially if something's a little finer, especially like the grass seed kind of thing, where you're just going to put a little bit out there, and the fertilizer, I'd probably use the spoon side, but then again, that's, just the way I would probably do. But I mean, it's controlling the application.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense. That's a good idea. Really good idea.
And then, like I said, too, doing, if you start your own vegetable seeds or flower seeds, the smaller herb bottles, especially if you plant lettuce or radishes and things, those seeds are so tiny. You're going down a line trying to put a little bit out because you really don't want to have to thin out 98% of what you just put down.
Yeah, right.
You use something smaller, and you're going to get, a finer, a better disbursement of the seed, and so you have less that you have to pull out and move or get rid of.
By the way, I drove past the new Publix.
Yeah.
It was a topic of conversation last week.
Right.
And those oak trees that are still on the road are lit up from the bottom. Have you seen the lights?
Oh, no, I haven't been by in the evening.
Yeah, so they're kind of like highlighting them with
illuminated
these big...
Nice.
When I say big, maybe it's 2 shoe boxes or whatever.
Okay, right.
These lights that are shining white light up into the trees. I think it looked kind of nice.
It's kind of neat. And there are some other trees that are being planted in there. I understand where he was coming from, where it's all those palms on the front. That it is all that. It's stereotypical.
Yeah.
It's Florida. You got to have palm trees.
Right.
Even though they were not really that prevalent in the area, but there's some other trees put in, and it is a landscape. It's
But now I have a question about this. When I walk through what looks like the actual way Florida looked 100,000 years ago, whatever.
Right.
Like for example, in parts of in the Silver Springs State Park, where you're walking where nobody's built anything.
Right.
You see a lot of those palms that are close to the ground.
Yeah, the scrub palmetto.
Okay, but not as many of these tall things that you see like in Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you see here.
Well, the sable palm.
So in other words, these were kind of imported?
No, it's the sable is actually the Florida state tree.
But you don't see them in the natural places.
You do, but you don't see necessarily. You see them in different areas, but they're found, as far as I know, throughout the state of Florida.
Okay.
But you don't always see big, like you say, when you're out in that. You find the oak trees in an oak hammock. You find pines in upland pine forests and things like that. So when we're creating landscapes, we are changing it. I mean, even when people are planting a native landscape, all they're doing is using plants that are native to the state of Florida, not necessarily native to where we live.
Yeah.
And that, is what some of that comes into, and that's, but some of these plants, I think that overall, just looking at the progress on that, I think it's going to be attractive. And it looks like there's going to be enough. And I think there looks like that they have planted some trees. It's not going to be shade this year, but that there will be some shade. And that they did keep that one natural, I say natural band, that buffer with those big oak trees there
on the road,
27th
on the edge
Avenue.
Of the road,
on the edge of the road.
And they got them lit.
Yeah,
the whole
have
thing
them
was lit
illuminated
this morning.
in order to put a focus to it.
Now that won't. They don't mind if you have the daylight on.
I don't think it should be a big problem. I'm not sure if they're going to keep them. Well, you come through here real early. I was going to say maybe all night would they keep them lit, but that might even be something
that's just while they're doing construction, maybe.
Right, possibly, maybe. Or it might be that they'll adjust that timer that it's So.
Oh my goodness, we have to take a break. We are inviting you to call the show, 622-WOCA. We'll take your calls, but first we have to take a break for the weather and a couple of commercials. We'll be right back with Carol Ann Baldwin on her same show with a new title, In the Garden with Carol Ann. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. More clouds and sun today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 82 to 86. Mostly cloudy later tonight, though 68 to 72. For tomorrow and Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon hours of each day. High both days 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Yvette. Beth, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, 72 degrees here at The Source, WOCA, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall just outside the WOCA commissary. Carol Baldwin is here on her show called In the Garden with Carol Ann.
There you go.
Your phone calls are important and invited. 622-9622 is the number. Today's the first full day of autumn.
That's right. It's and actually it kind of feels like it. It's kind of overcast and drizzly.
It's like you want it to feel that way, right?
And, you know, nature knows the time of year it is. I mean, it's going to warm up. I mean, we always do. It's still September. It's not quite October.
I know.
And this is Florida fall. And I think some people that are, that recent residents, that have come to Florida, or some of the snowbirds that come back a little earlier in earlier fall, are learning that yes, we do have seasons here. They're just not as drastic.
You got paprika.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper.
Salt. Okay. But no, the things are changing. And you look in the stores now, the mums are in, the fall color. Everybody's looking for that fall color. Mums are in. I think if you look around, probably the golden rain trees are going to start to be putting their color on, which they're a beautiful tree. It's just, to me, the name rain tree is just what they do, is that each of those little seeds, they rain trees. With the golden rain tree becomes the Jadera bug, also known as a golden rain tree bug, and several other names. Harmless, pretty much. All they do is eat seeds. They're just annoying. You can vacuum them up if they're on the walls. You can spray them down with any, spray. They're just not, they're annoying versus being a pest. The actual rain tree is more of a pest than the bug.
Right.
On those kind of things. But, taking a look around, unfortunately, I'm already seeing, and I do say unfortunately, cool season annuals. If you want to get them, just watch. It is still warm. It's Central Florida, so you're going to need some extra care if you're going to go ahead and put those in the ground. If you're putting them in containers, you can control some of that a little bit.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I have a question about the banana peppers.
Okay.
I have a plant that's about 5 feet tall with plenty of banana peppers, but I notice now where they're hanging down, they're about 7 inches long.
Okay.
The bottom of them are kind of dark brown black, almost like the bottom of the tomato when you didn't use enough of calcium.
Right.
Or is that from the too much water?
It could be. It actually could be the lack of calcium. If those plants have been in the ground well, it sounds like they might be a couple years old.
No, one season.
One season. Okay. They could be lacking some calcium by this time of year. So you might give them a dose of a liquid calcium.
Could you use? I've got a lot of the organic tomato fertilizer left with the calcium in it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You're just trying to get some calcium into that, and periodically throughout the season, using the ones with the calcium on all of your fruiting vegetables, your squash, cucumbers, things like that. Actually, to me, it's a benefit having that little bit of calcium coming in a couple times during the season.
Okay, and I have one other question.
Yeah.
On the impatiens,
okay,
the ones that they pulled off the market because they
downy mildew
mold stuff on it.
Yeah, downy mildew. Yeah.
Yes. Now I still have some that are survived and
okay.
are still growing good, but the amount of the black spots is about 75% less. It seems like it's going away as the years go by.
Well. Okay.
But I was in, Home Depot, and I was looking at some that looked almost identical to it, and I asked the vendor, and she didn't know what I was talking about, the ones they pulled off. But there was a New Guinea impatient.
Yeah.
Is that different, or is that the same thing?
It's a different impatient. The New Guinea and the Sun Patients. The Sun Patient is a breed off of the New Guinea. The New Guinea, if you notice, the leaves are more lance-shaped. They're longer and a little bit different shade of green than what we say the old-fashioned green impatient, which I don't know if that makes sense to you. But the one that they took off the market was the one that tolerated pretty much no sun, no direct sun at all, and had the smaller, little more rounded leaf. And of course,
right.
Came in many different colors. We're a little more, lower mounding. The New Guinea is, I believe, a little more upright, a larger leaf, some different colors in the flowers, more of the darker oranges, reds, and pinks and purples. And they can tolerate some more sunlight, a little more morning sun or more filtered sunlight. And then you get to the Sun Patient, which can take full sun so long as you make sure you give it water. The New Guinea and the Sun Patient were not affected by the downy mildew.
Okay, good. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah, and the old style, they're coming back into the stores a little bit. We had them in the early spring, and then there may be some showing up at some of the stores right about now.
And they're just, would they be called just regular impatiens?
Just regular impatiens. They're usually sold just in the smaller pint cups or 12 or 18 packs, maybe the small 6-packs, some hanging baskets, just like not in the big quarts usually, or, where you're looking for a larger size plant to begin with. These are usually coming in as smaller sizes.
Oh, Carol Ann, I thought of one more thing on bananas.
Yeah.
When I was reading on there to leave the bananas once you see the first banana, when the purple leaf comes off,
right,
90 to 120 days before you cut it and then hang them.
There you go.
What happens if you're running into, I've got a bloom that just came out, and it's going to be, I have one bloom, December 1st is going to be 90 days, but I may go into a little bit later than that. If you pick them before 90 days and hang them, or is that affect them much?
They may not be as sweet. If yours are truly a good, do you know yours are a good banana?
Oh, they are so sweet. They're excellent.
Yeah, they may not be as sweet because they haven't had a chance to mature on the tree quite as long.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where that's going to happen. They may not quite have the flavor as they would have on the earlier flowering, that earlier spring, early summer flowering. Here in the late something, well, now very early fall, you figure that's the days are shorter. The temperatures aren't quite as warm. The nighttime temperatures are a little bit cooler. And so all of that is going to affect how quickly that's going to mature. And so it may or may not be probably not going to be quite as tasty of a banana.
If frost hits them before you cut them off, I guess that's
well, it's going to be more than likely if it's a hard frost because they do hang underneath the foliage on the banana tree, that protects them a little bit. But you think about when you put a banana in the refrigerator, what happens to the peel? It turns black. It doesn't affect the flavor of the fruit of the banana itself. It just makes it to where it's unappealing to put in the lunchbox. So instead you peel them, dip them in chocolate, throw them in the freezer.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, and you all have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, I thought by now I'd have a whole bunch of bananas
to
share with everybody.
Right. Disappointing. Maybe next year. Maybe we may have to throw some fertilizer on yours. I mean,
but it had the flower.
Yeah, that's true. And we kept thinking it was going to.
Something was wrong.
Yeah, something just didn't. Something didn't happen. Just because I know we're going to get ready for another break here in a few minutes. But you had printed off a thing on steam treatment for citrus greening. Where did that come from? CC Sites?
I think it's the Florida News Network.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Could be. This is, something interesting going with the citrus greening, which is an issue. And this is coming into the time of year where you're going to start paying attention to the fruit getting ripe. And if you were never sure if your tree was kind of sickly looking over the summer or as it's been ripening fruit or maturing those fruit, you'll be able to tell if you have greening once those fruit are supposed to be getting ripe and you cut one open and you go, and it tastes nasty. But it's just one here through Gainesville is where the byline's out of. And at the university are turning to an old-fashioned method of steaming to help treat citrus greening. But just reading the little short article, it almost sounds as if this is moreover for research purposes, because the steaming where they're tenting these trees and steaming at a temperature, I want to say it was 136 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 seconds. And what that actually did was it makes all the leaves fall off the tree, for one, which of course eliminates further carrying of it into the tree, but it doesn't reach the root zones. It's not going in far enough. And then after all the leaves fall off a tree, they're going to put on new leaves, which attracts the psyllid, which is the one who vectors the disease, the virus. So I don't see that being a real good thing. So the steam
idea is not a good idea?
No, it doesn't seem like it. It's they've used steam and heat for treating seeds. That's what solarization does in the garden, and things like that. It gets rid of some pathogens, but I think this is just a little too big of an issue. But it may give them the opportunity to see how the greening's actually coming in. So.
Carol, we are up against a break, and I apologize. You do have a call that's on hold, and for the caller waiting, I thank you for waiting, first of all. And if you could just hang on we got 2 minutes for the news, etc., and then a commercial, so it's about 3 minutes away. And we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA. We'll be right back with Carol Ann Baldwin in just about 3 minutes.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. ISIS militants in Syria attacked from the air.
U.S. forces started the campaign against ISIS last night in Syria, launching airstrikes, bombings, and cruise missile attacks. The U.S. is being joined by allies Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates. U.S. Central Command says 14 Islamic State targets were hit, including the group's fighters, training compounds, headquarters, and command and control facilities, storage facilities, a finance center, supply trucks, and armed vehicles.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. The president slated to address the nation this morning. And we're learning more about the man authorities say jumped a White House fence this weekend, got through the front door. Officials say the former soldier was arrested in rural Virginia 2 months ago, heavily armed and carrying a map of Washington with a circle drawn around the White House. Fox News, we report, You decide.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
Table for one?
Right. There's like a 12 of you, miss?
Oh, that's just my back office. They're always with me.
Okay.
With Sage, you're securely connected to your back office no matter where you are, so you can make the sale, send the invoice, and see how it all adds up from anywhere.
They're not going to get out of hand, are they?
Now the power to make confident business decisions follows you everywhere. Use Sage to make your back office as mobile as you are at workfromsage.com. That's workfromsage.com.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
All right, 27 minutes before 10 o'clock, Carol Ann Baldwin is here with her program, In the Garden with Carol Ann. I get this song in my head every time I say it. I hear the song, hear the new theme song. And you do have somebody waiting patiently.
Great.
Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hi, no problem. I like your new theme song.
Thanks.
And you guys were talking about bananas, so guess what I did during the break? I went and got one.
You got hungry, huh?
I got hungry for banana. What brings me up, I never realized that if you put a banana in the refrigerator, it would turn black. I never knew that. When you buy a bunch of bananas, of course you want to eat the yellow ones, but every once in a while you're going to get one that's got a little green in it.
Yeah.
If you would put that in the refrigerator, could you force it to ripen up the next day?
No, put it in a paper bag.
Oh, put it in a paper bag.
Yeah.
Not in the refrigerator.
Not in the refrigerator, right. Yeah, you put it in if you put it in the refrigerator, actually it would probably stop the ripening process a little more than actually forcing it to ripen more. When you get your bananas, we usually, if you're feeling good, if you haven't been sick or something like that, you usually buy a couple of them that are a little on the green side.
Right.
Because you're willing to wait a few days for them to ripen, or you get a couple, one or two that are ready for you the first day or two, and then a couple more that are a little on the green side. Or if you get a good deal and you buy a bunch, you stick them in a paper bag and they'll ripen up.
Sounds good. I'll try that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's it's one of those jokes that you're not feeling well enough to buy green bananas.
Okay.
Yeah, that you can't. You're not sure if you'll be here long enough to eat them all.
Okay. And what is the thing where you put an apple with a banana in a paper bag?
Again, it would just be the ethylene gas from the apple to ripen the banana.
Oh, okay.
Because apples are picked. Usually, the apples that you'll be eating now from the supermarket are actually last year's apples.
Oh, really?
Because they store in cold storage.
Oh, wow.
And that they'll keep for that long. Same way, with potatoes and things like that usually your potatoes are not fresh harvested when you go to the store and buy a bag of potatoes to bring home.
Right.
They weren't dug up last week. That's why we have potatoes year round. Is because
they hold on to them.
Yeah, that they keep in cold storage.
I'm glad they do that for us.
Right, they keep in cold storage. Carrots will keep in cold storage. All your root crops do well like that. Now, Florida potatoes are one that don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. They don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're grown in the cooler season. And they don't store well because they're And they just, the type of potato are more for fresh use.
Yeah.
They're the little red potatoes. A lot of times, if you grow them at home yourself, when you take them out of the ground and you're washing them off, you're almost washing the skin right off, just gently washing them.
Right.
Because they're for the fresh. They are more fresh. They don't, just like our onions, don't usually get that tough outer skin to it that helps to preserve them under cool storage or cold storage. You'll find years ago did one of those tours of the Golden Flake plant with I don't know, my daughter's 3rd or 4th grade class went through, and they had said that when you find the real pale potato chips in the stores, you open a bag of chips and they're real light colored.
Right.
They're Florida potatoes.
Oh, really?
Because when those come into season, they use those first because the Idahos and the Maines and things like that, the Michigan potatoes will keep under cold storage, where the Florida potatoes don't keep well.
By the way, the numbers on your video are going up.
That's cool.
People watching the video.
We have people watching the video.
If you're watching and you want to call Carol Ann, you can watch her speak to you. The phone number is 352 if you're out of the area. 352-622-9622.
With the advent of the video with radio, it really stops you from making funny faces.
Can I have a banana plant question. Okay. I'm not clear about something you told me once before. So I'm going to tell it like I thought I heard it, and you tell me if I got it right or not.
Okay.
A banana plant will only produce bananas one time.
That's to the best of my understanding.
Period, right?
That's it.
Okay. So then part 2 to the question is, there's little tiny banana plants growing up right next to my banana plant.
Yeah.
Are they new, or are they really the same plant?
Those new ones are from the root, but they are a new plant.
So they could produce bananas.
They could produce bananas, right.
But the one that tried this year won't be able to do it again.
May or may not, because it never made the banana, so I don't know.
So you know what I could do? I could just adopt bananas. It's real easy.
A banana.
You just go to the grocery store.
I just temporarily adopt them. That's what you get. Yeah, that's it.
You have a phone call coming in. And good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning again.
Morning.
I have in your question about when the bananas bloom.
Right.
Now, the first one I had bloom, they're 22 feet tall. And when it had the stalk of bananas come out, I waited the 90 days and cut them.
Mm-hmm.
And I left the tree up, or the plant up, and within about 2 months, it rotted in the middle, and the top half of it fell over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't. And I had another one that should have had blooms, and when the summer came around, I know that bloom was right in the top because both of them were the same age. That tree rotted out and started to fall over. Yeah, that's after the bloom.
So they self-destruct,
Mother Nature, yeah. They just self-destruct, absolutely.
That's well, they're a big herb. They replace themselves, and the thing is too is if it freezes in the winter, if it hadn't ever put the flower on, you can cut them back or just clean them up, and in the next spring, the tree's back and active.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going. Right. Bye.
Thanks. That was great. Somebody has actually seen their tree, and I keep looking out at that palm that's over there. That here in the paddock mall, and that one. There's one over there that looks like it's probably on its way out.
Really?
Yeah. Which one? The far one there, where all of them. I think it's the smallest one of them.
Yeah, it looks small. Yeah. But it's green on top.
Look in the middle of it. The center of it, the ones that should be, they're kind of dead up there.
It's leaning a little bit. You think it's going to fall over?
I think it's just dead or dying. Really? It may not fall over right away, but it's just one of those. Just I keep looking at it today. And well, that's a loading area, so big truck. Yikes. No, with
Cheney Brothers Park there.
Yeah, all the different food ones, because that's backing into the loading area for the food court.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I printed this last week and I forgot to bring it with me. We're always talking about the bees, and the honeybees and things like that. Yeah. And this was an article, actually came out of the Miami Herald September 15th of this year. And Florida law helps fights to save, they needed a comma in there somewhere, to save dwindling honeybees. And it was moreover about the Miami area on trying to, Miami-Dade County, on keeping neighborhood hives and going through on that. But just going on some of the other, everyone wants to put forth there's a certain pesticide and things like that. And I always try to remind people it's not just one cause. If it was one cause, they'd have figured that out a long time ago and eliminated that cause. There's many different things. Part of it is misuse of pesticides, massive plantings on single crops, or what they call a monoculture, where you plant acres and acres and acres of one thing and then expect, a population of pollinators to be able to thrive when they're stuck with one food source that all generally will bloom all at the same time and things like that. So there are some other issues with it, but they're saying, the commercial, that there's about 700, back in 2007, about 700 beekeepers were still registered in Florida, and that has dwindled down from, I'm trying to find where I had it, I probably didn't mark it, but with how many bees we used to have, that these bees travel, you get the ones that people, they're put on semis, and you occasionally hear of an accident where a semi carrying bees overturns, and next thing you know, you got a swarm of bees coming out, and it's quite a mess on a highway when that happens. Where they're taken all across this country following the crops that are in bloom and things. And Florida bees will go all the way to California to pollinate the almond crop, which the almonds, I didn't highlight that section, but it's quite a the amount of almonds produced is more than half of the world's almond crop. And almonds are one of the dirtiest things they have. They actually bring the bees back and have to put them somewhere and flush out that, flush them out, flush those hives out even, and let them keep going. But they're, they still, in this article, it's kind of neat, for the home possible beekeeper, someone with some interest, it's kind of a neat little article out of the Miami Herald. But the stuff that was making a problem for the bees is a combination of pesticides, invasive pests, the swaths, as they're saying, especially down south, are the sugarcane fields and golf courses that gobble up natural foraging grounds. Because there's not a native honeybee to Florida, actually to the United States. I don't believe they're all come from, they're European in their background most of the time. And there's two kinds of domesticated, when they're domesticated and feral, they've gotten loose. Europeans brought the first honeybees, and
on purpose?
They brought them here in order to make honey. But with 4 centuries of domestication has weakened the species. So even part of that is within there, that we've domesticated the honeybee down to a point, like they say, with any animal that's domesticated, it loses some of its defensive ability because we're caring for it. We've domesticated it. In the 50s, the scientists were looking for a tropical bee that tried to breed the South African bees with European bees in Brazil, and that you got the public relations nightmare. Some of the Africanized queens escaped. It's illegal to have Africanized honeybees in your hives, but occasionally some will get in there. That. Just going through with the feral bees, and see the Africanized. What happens with them? The European honeybees are very docile. If a European you disturb a European honey bee hive, they're going to send a few out. There's a few stings that are going to occur. They'll leave a marker, and if the threat is gone or they don't see as a big threat, it's no big deal. The Africanized, a threat occurs, and suddenly you have a swarm that attacks, and that's the ones that, I haven't heard of any in recent years, but I don't know, probably 10 years ago, or maybe not even that long ago, Texas, there were several where, a farmer bumped the side of his barn and not knowing there was a hive up in there. Next thing you know, he's swarmed. And with the amount of stings they do, they can kill you. Especially
do they die when they sting you?
When bees sting you, yes. The stinger comes out and it rips out part of their abdomen and they do die off.
Wow.
And it's but it leaves that stinger in there to pulse.
Defense.
The venom sac comes out and it sits there and pulses, pushing that venom in through that stinger into you.
Wow.
And that's where you have the problem. But yeah, it's a neat little article. They talk a little bit about the colony collapse, but that there's so many different things of reasons on that. But it's more of just that, in Florida, that there is a law that helps the homeowner kind of honeybee, hobbyist kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it is raining.
It is, and I parked about 6 away from the area,
what?
6 parking places.
Oh, it's not too bad.
I'm gonna get wet.
We'll take a little break and catch up on the weather. As a matter of fact, speaking of weather, and we'll be right back with Carol Ann. Remember, your calls are an important part of the show. You're invited to call. The number is 352-622-9622. We'll be right back with Carol Ann.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. More clouds and sun today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 82 to 86. Mostly cloudy later tonight, though 68 to 72. For tomorrow and Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon hours of each day. High both days 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Yeah, I thought so. The computer froze.
Uh-oh.
So we can't depend on the computer. That's okay. We wanted to come back early
That's
anyway.
all right.
Carolyn Baldwin is here. And Carolyn, you have a question? A caller.
Okay, great. What do we got?
Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Larry. Hey, Carol Ann.
Good morning.
What I'm calling about is I always like to grow banana peppers and Tabasco peppers, kind of the little hot peppers, not the bell peppers.
Right.
And I don't know, I would get a plant, it would come up, it'd have a few leaves, transplant it, and it would kind of put another leaf, maybe a bloom, but then the leaves just fall off. And I bought a plant at Walmart a few weeks back, and it was another banana pepper. Anyway, and it was full of, had foliage, and it looked really good. And then a couple of days later, it's falling off. And then when I go back to Walmart, all of their banana peppers are doing the same thing. Not the bells.
Right.
I look at those, and all of the banana peppers there are these scraggly little main stem, and then all the leaves are like, just laying down.
Right.
Water, and they're not dried out.
I'm wondering, though, if they actually didn't dry out before they got watered again when you saw them.
Well, I see the same thing with them at like I said, when I got these at Walmart, they must have just come in.
Okay.
They were beautiful. I brought it home and everything, and I kept it watered, but then all of a sudden, a few days later, it starts losing its foliage. I have it everywhere in my yard, in all different places, sunny spots, partial shade.
Right.
And I bought some. I went to when we had the thing with the herbs
expo, right?
And, know, the classes, the vegetable garden. I bought 3 plants up there, and one of them totally lost its leaves, and the others just look like, that they need whatever. That
they're lacking in something. Now, when you buy them and bring them home, are you immediately taking them out of the pot and putting them into the ground?
No.
No. You're trying to keep them a few days.
A few days, and then when I do take them out, I put them in a container because I've always grown my banana peppers.
Right.
I have in the ground. But now I do have a Tabasco in the ground that I've had for this is like the 3rd year.
Right.
It's not huge like it was, but it's producing peppers and it's doing okay. I mean, it's not huge. It makes a great big.
The Tabasco's a nice plant there.
I looked the other day and it's got lots of peppers on it. These, if they have a pepper, it falls off. I have a habanero that's in a pot by itself, and I put it in the sun, and the one pepper has turned orange now. But the plant, it just looks, and these are in different places. And I looked, like I said, Walmart, I didn't look at the bells, but bananas and all look like mine. And I looked at Lowe's, and they look the same way. Have you heard, is there anything about these banana and habanero, these hot peppers? Because earlier I had one that I think I got at the March Festival.
Right.
And I had in a pot. It was gorgeous, and it had gorgeous peppers on them because I gave some away and everything. And now it's
it's done the same thing. Now, with that one that you've had for a while, have you fertilized it at all since March?
Yeah, I use that dynamite.
Okay, now that you only use like twice a year.
Right.
So that's one of those just a continuous release fertilizer where you're using, depending on the size of the pot, it might only be about a tablespoon or two.
I don't put a lot. I just sprinkle a little bit. And the only other pepper, I had that ornamental pepper, but that had the tomato hornworm on it that ate it.
Right. And they usually will recover from that. On losing the leaves, they, though the thing, I mean, you said the little leaves, they just wilt up, and do they recover, or does it?
Well, yeah, then I'll get a couple of leaves coming out, and maybe a bloom. And then I've had one have like the little pepper set, and then it just kind of, I don't know. They just wilt away.
They're just I'll have to. Yeah, I'm not sure on it. I'll look some stuff up and see what there is. But it does seem like it's affecting the hot peppers.
Wherever you work, and see if now, because I went last Friday. They had a thing for the people that had commercial accounts at Lowe's over on 200.
Right.
Where my son has an account, so we went there. So afterwards, I went down there and looked. Their bell peppers look good, but their banana peppers there on 200 at Lowe's did not look good.
We're pretty sad.
I haven't looked at Home Depot. The only two places is that.
Well, they're all going to be from the same supplier.
Yeah, well, but if the care is different, maybe after they get them in there.
Not really, because Bonnie Farms is maintained by Bonnie Farms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not maintained by the store usually. Maybe some water, but not a big. Not shouldn't be much of a difference. It might be a small amount, but
these plants, because this one plant that I got, and it's in that peat pot that you can just, and it was gorgeous. It was all covered with leaves, and now it's just stems. I think it's completely not
may not have survived it. I'll have to. I'll ask around. I'll even if I can catch the guys on the Bonnie truck. I'll ask them if they've heard anything, seen anything, and I'll.
But now, see, the other ones I got at vendors at the either the Spring Festival.
Right.
I got a couple, and then what you just had.
The at the expo. Right. Yeah, I'm not real. Yeah,
it's doing good. Well, I just have been mystified by it, and I've been going to call you, but I always forget.
Right. Well, I'll see what I can find out. I'll write it down and see what we can find out on the peppers.
The cow horns. It's the more what I call the small ones, because the big ones I call are the bells.
Right. The small, both sweet and hot pepper.
Yeah, the hot peppers, the habaneros, the banana, the cow horn. I forgot I had cow horn. I think it got a pepper on it, and then the whole plant just
died. Yeah, let me do a little research on it, see whether or not we can find something out for you next week.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And Carolyn, you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hey, good morning. This is Dennis.
Yeah.
I went to, I think it was Walmart, or someplace anyway. I bought a bunch of, about a quarter of a pound of habaneros to make myself some hot sauce.
Right.
And they was nice and ripe, and I split one of them open and dried the seeds and planted them. That was in the spring, and I got a bunch of nice bushes, and they're all just starting to get nice peppers on them. So all you need is one pepper, and you can make yourself as many as you want from the seeds.
Yeah,
You can't find what you want. Just buy one and get the seeds out of it.
There you go. Yeah, with a lot of them, they will do like that. Again, watching that you're not going with too much of a hybrid. But you can always do it each year. And peppers will last. Peppers are perennials. They'll keep going for you so long as you keep that plant alive. Keep it from freezing to the ground.
A friend of mine's got a ghost pepper bush.
Ooh.
Now that's a real one now.
Yeah,
that'll take the hair off your chin.
But
anyway, he gave me a batch of them, and I made some really good hot sauce out of it. And I got ghost pepper plants growing from one of the peppers.
From one seed, right?
If you can't find what you want, just buy one and produce it yourself.
There, if you can't find the seeds, there.
Nothing.
That's right. I know I did some, and even some of the beans, not necessarily the fresh ones, but there's a particular field pea that we enjoy when we make Hoppin' John. I know all the recipes are got black-eyed peas. Ours is not made with black-eyed peas. Ours is made with field peas. Well, try to find those in the market. Well, when you finally get a hold of one, you take a handful of those seeds out and you save them. You plant them in the garden when the springtime comes, when it starts warming up so that you got them for the next year. But yeah, you're right. And some of that, so long as you're not going with too many, I wouldn't necessarily do it with tomatoes that you buy in the market or even cucumbers, but the peppers, the habaneros, the jalapenos, the cubanellas, and things like that, those are probably going to do all right. Those great big bell peppers or the little tiny ones are more apt to be a hybrid and may or may not come out the way, you were hoping for on those. But the other ones, the hot ones will.
I bought about a half a pound of jalapeno peppers, washed them up real good, and cut each end off of them, cut them in nice thin little slices. I got a half a gallon jar.
Yeah.
I filled it almost all the way up, covered it with vinegar, a little bit of sea salt. You got to let it sit at least 5 or 6 weeks, and they get nice. They're better than any you can get in a jar.
Oh, yeah. Just keep them in the fridge.
Actually, I don't keep them in the fridge.
No?
No, I don't.
Well, that's... With a gallon, I would probably keep them in the fridge. I just don't think I could eat them fast enough to not keep them. Yeah.
All my friends love them.
Yeah. So.
All right, you have a good day.
Great. Yep, you too.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah.
Well, we are just about out of time, and I want to make sure I hear the whole theme song again.
Right.
So
we're gonna play it
just
again.
Stop it. We'll stop in time to hear the whole thing. But,
sure.
Carolyn, thank you. Always fun, and
always is.
Get us excited. It's the first day of autumn. So.
First day of autumn, first new theme song.
In years.
When I came on board, we made the Ricky Nelson You've Got a Garden Party, and now we've got
a new one. It's called In the Garden with Carol Ann.
There we go.
And we're going to start it right now, and then we'll wrap it up. Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thanks, Larry.
And who's this again? Stanley?
Yeah, Stanley Spencer. Thanks, Stan.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Larry. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.